What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So CES 2022 continues to roll along, and Nvidia had some pretty big announcements, especially when it comes to their video cards, which one of them being a pretty capable looking budget card. And not to be outdone, AMD showed up with their own budget video card. But of course, there are some pretty serious issues that comes along with these releases, and we're going to be going over all of that here today. Also, we're going to be talking about what looks like some pretty good games heading into Game Pass over the next couple of days. And we also have this odd patent that we can go over from Sony showing the game actually coaching you in some cases. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the SpawnWave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all of the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with Death Stranding Director's Cut. It's already on the PlayStation 5, and it looks like it will be releasing on PC here pretty soon. We can see this tweet posted up by 505 Games saying, exciting news, Death Stranding Director's Cut will launch simultaneously on both Steam and the Epic Game Store in spring 2022. I do like that they have to point out it's going to be on both at the same time, because we know what happens with some of these games, especially 505 published games. They tend to go to the Epic Game Store first for some sort of timed exclusivity deal, and then it goes to Steam. The thing that I was wondering, and many other people were too in the replies, how does this work for people that already bought Death Stranding on PC? Of course, with the PlayStation 5, it was a $10 upgrade, but that was going from like the PS4 version to the PS5. This is going from the PC version to the PC version, so that is where it gets a little tricky. I'm thinking they're going to do the same thing where it's like $10. I believe the control situation, that was a whole weird thing too, so don't really have a lot of confidence in 505 doing this smoothly. Also, we did have a look at the UK sales charts from this previous week, and I just want to show you what the #1 game is, really. Take a look here. Yeah, it's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's followed by FIFA 2022, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Call of Duty Vanguard, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Minecraft on the Switch, Just Dance 2022, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then Mario Party Superstars. But yes, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is back at the top, because why not? Again, if I'm Nintendo, I'm just sitting back looking at this saying, what, do we need the next Mario Kart? Apparently not. It keeps selling. Now, of course, this kind of goes along with the Switch itself that had a very good holiday just across the board. So the one game a lot of people tend to pick up when they get a Switch is Mario Kart. It makes sense why these sales would spike basically the week after Christmas, but it wouldn't shock me if we get into 2022 here over the next couple of weeks and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just appears at the top of the charts again. It just keeps on selling. So hey, maybe we'll see Mario Kart 9 towards the end of this generation as a cross-gen title to help launch the next-gen Switch. Oh, and it looks like we do have an event returning for Halo Infinite with a game that people are just asking for more content. Well, we have this at least. You can see it here. Saying, hope you kept your blades sharp, Spartans. The Fracture event officially returns to Halo Infinite today. Dive in and check out the updated event pass and all this. And it's just more cosmetics being thrown in there. This is the event that they had up for, it was like a week. It went away and they were like, oh, it'll be back next year. Well, here we are now, and I guess we're going to have even more stuff to unlock for a set time or a set period. Basically, they say you can unlock this block of content. You can see the other stuff, but wait until a month or two later and then you can get to that. A lot of people right now are just asking for maps, modes, basically content for the game that's just not more cosmetics. And look, people already still look at this, say, that's probably stuff you pulled out of the game and put it behind this event pass or in the cosmetic shop. And yeah, it's hard to argue because I kind of think that is the case. I'm just hoping for more maps. I would love to see the Pit come back from Halo 3 as a remade map for Halo Infinite, but at this point, we just need something being added in, because I'll admit I finished the entire Battle Pass, I'm ranked Onyx now, and I'm kind of looking around like, well, I guess I'll do this event, but then what do I do after that? And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Xbox Game Pass to start off the month of January, because it looks like they have some pretty good games going in. One in particular caught a lot of headlines. Let's head over here to news.xbox.com, where they have it all laid out, starting with games that are available right now in the service. They entered yesterday, starting with Gorogoa, that's cloud, console, and PC. Elijah, that's cloud, console, and PC. And then The Pedestrian, cloud, console, and PC. Moving up to January 6th, we have Ember, that's cloud, console, and PC. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, console, and PC. Now this is through EA Play. It is a big addition here for Game Pass. I saw a lot of people online who said, I just bought it last week. Well, I mean, I guess maybe you could put in for a refund since it's there in Game Pass now. But when it comes to these EA games, you have to remember they do enter EA Play after a set period of time, and yeah, that includes Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, the other thing to point out here is if you just have EA Play on another platform, or maybe you just have it specifically on Xbox or whatever, you can just download this game. It's part of the service. Remember, EA Play is part of Game Pass Ultimate. Either way, though, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a huge addition. I recommend everyone go ahead, download it, and check it out. Especially if you're new to the Mass Effect series, this is a great way to jump in here with Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, all the DLC, everything here, upgraded to different controls, 4K visuals, everything. Certainly an awesome package worth playing through. Then we have Outer Wilds, that's cloud console and PC. Also a pretty good addition there. And moving up to January 13th, we have the classic Spelunky 2, console and PC. And then we have the game preview for the Anacrusis, console and PC. This was shown off at one of Microsoft's shows, and it looked interesting enough. It's a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter set aboard a massive starship stranded at the edge of explored space. Also, we do have some games leaving January 15th. I'll go ahead and put it up on screen here, with the biggest one that I can tell being Kingdom Hearts 3, that for console. So if you were interested in checking out the Kingdom Hearts series, it's going to take you a little while to get through all of them to work your way up to 3, and it is leaving January 15th, so you don't have a lot of time to do so. But if maybe you have played the older Kingdom Hearts, even kind of looking at 3 here and there, deciding if you were going to pick it up, might be a good time to do it now before it leaves Game Pass. But overall, not a bad way to start out January, and that EA Play edition for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate continues to come through, especially with something like Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's the one I would check out with everything here. Certainly a great way to get started in an awesome series that will have a new game sometime in the future here, but pretty good way to start off the month. Next up, let's talk about Nvidia and AMD at CES. We'll start with Nvidia though, because they did have quite a bit to show. I was really interested in the budget cards that they both showed off at these presentations. However, Nvidia did show up with the card we were expecting, and that was the 3090 Ti, which we'll start here. I'll also leave a link down below in the sources to Nebelian, who did a good job kind of doing like the play-by-play for the different shows, but we can see Nvidia holding up the 3090 Ti. They're gonna have more information next month, so I guess we'll have to wait till then for like the pricing and availability, all of this. But they did show off some details. 24 gigabytes GDDR6X RAM. Basically, all these specs are just absolutely ridiculous. 40 teraflops of GPU performance, 78 T-flops for ray tracing, 320 T-flops for AI tasks, estimated to be 10% faster than the 3090. I know you're looking at that saying just 10%, but hey, for people who are trying to push things like 8K or doing a lot of computing for AI and all that, you might be looking at that saying, okay, great, that's at least somewhat of a bump that I needed there. But I think the part that was the most intriguing was their budget card, that being the RTX 3050. They'll be launching January 27th, so later on this month, for a price of $249. Now, they did have several slides showing off different features and specifications, but it will include 3rd-gen Tensor cores that can be used for DLSS and AI, which means, yes, you will have RTX-powered ray tracing in this card, which is pretty impressive at a $249 price point. It will have 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory and support for all of their other applications like NVIDIA Reflex, their broadcast app, encoder, studio, and of course they'll have game-ready drivers. They did show off this chart. I guess it's their benchmark against other cards like the GTX 1650, the 1050 Ti, and the 1050. And I look at these benchmarks most times, I take them with a grain of salt, because obviously these are from the manufacturers of these cards, and they want you to really look at this and be like, wow, this is incredible stuff here. So they'll even show you, okay, here it is with ray tracing and DLSS, and obviously the 1650, the 1050, they can't do that. But nonetheless, we do have some frame rate analysis. This for 1080p highest settings with ray tracing on, paired with an i9 CPU according to Nvidia. Everything above 60 FPS, that's Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Ops Cold War, Doom Eternal, F1 2021, and Control. And then moving over to AMD, not to be completely outdone, they showed up with their own budget card, that being the AMD Radeon RX 6500 XT. This will be a $200 card that'll be launching January 19th, so about a week earlier than Nvidia. And you can see some of the specifications here that were drawn up by AnandTech to make it very easy to compare to the RX 6600, the 6400, and the 5500 XT. Now, the biggest thing I noticed here with the 6500 XT is it has 4 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. However, they did boost the clock speeds quite a bit. Like for game clock at 2.6 gigahertz, and you have boost clock at 2.8 gigahertz. That versus, for example, the 6600 at just over 2 gigahertz game clock. Now, if we move up to the benchmarks themselves, they compared them, of course, to the RX 570 and even the GTX 1650, and yeah, it does look much, much better, again, with their bar charts, and we have to wait till these get into hands of independent reviewers to get a real-world scenario with some of these games, but Call of Duty Vanguard, Resident Village, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, Overwatch, they at least went through some of the more popular games and showed off the jumps you would get in terms of performance at 1080p. And that's the biggest thing here, is these would be more budget-oriented for people who aren't necessarily looking for 4K or 8K or even 1440p, while I think these cards would be able to do 1440p for certain games like Counter-Strike, for example. Clearly, they are aiming towards 1080p with things like ray tracing enabled. I think that's good, but my biggest issue with this, and something I noticed immediately, is there wasn't a lot of excitement around this announcement. You would think, oh wow, that's a pretty good entry price for people who want something that will at least give them a good overall experience for PC gaming. But the biggest thing that comes up is we're not going to get it at that price. Let's be real. This would be, as people say, a paper launch. Looks good on paper, not necessarily at checkout when you're trying to get it and fight off all of the bots. We have seen some of these video cards appear in brick and mortar stores like at Best Buy for like a RTX 3080. However, people tend to line up even if they have pretty good stock, and it sells out right away unless you get there at like 4 a.m. or something and you're prepared to sit in the line. And then obviously a lot of those cards go up online and they get flipped for 2 to even 3 times the value. So I expect like for example, the 3050 to show up on eBay for $500, $600, even $700, as out there as that sounds. But the one hope I have here is a lot of times these cards are bought up to do things like mine cryptocurrency, which you probably see those tweets online quite a bit, where people are showing off their massive server farm of all these video cards stacked up. I don't necessarily think they go after something like the RTX 3050 or the new AMD card. I think they're mostly looking towards the higher end video cards or GPUs that would give them a better return on investment when it comes to the amount they're able to mine. I think we'd mostly have to look towards the chip shortage itself and just how much stock Nvidia and AMD are able to provide, and if they're able to get them into stores like Best Buy or any other place like Micro Center, and can sell from there, and hopefully that keeps pricing within reason. While it looks good at $200 and $250, yeah, I feel everyone's pain. We're probably not going to be getting these cards at those prices. But for anyone out there attempting to, hey, good luck. I hope you do get one, and I hope you take it from one of the bots. In our last bit of news, let's talk about a new patent that was discovered online for Sony, who's been pretty busy with a lot of patents when it comes to, I'll say, the user experience, especially with games that are maybe a bit more difficult. You can see this diagram here, and it was posted up over on VGC. It is around a patent that is basically for coaching a user during gameplay, and it triggers when apparently the player has fallen below a certain skill threshold, and it will then help you with hints and even like bits of video and gameplay that are overlaid with images with self-coaching content. And according to Sony, this would be to reduce frustration of players in various game genres in learning a new game. Now, Sony has gone as far, apparently, to patent things that describe, as is laid out here, an Uber-style real-time help service. I guess maybe you could earn money helping other people if they're willing to pay you for it. I mean, that's an interesting future to consider if you're really good at a game and it's very popular and people are reaching out like, how do I do this certain level, this certain trophy? How do I level up fast or get certain skill points? You could just stop in their game for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, help them out, and then you receive compensation in form of, I assume, payment or maybe just some sort of currency in the game. A lot of possibilities there, and Sony has been doing this a lot. They have like an AI assistant that they have been patenting and just working to build out their overall ecosystem when it comes to, again, player experience. I don't know if we'll get to a point where you're just coached outright by another player, but it's an interesting future to consider there. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll they posted up yesterday, where I asked, has the current video card market stopped you from building a PC over the last few years? 53% said yes, video cards are too expensive or hard to get. 12% said no, I built a PC recently anyway. And then 35% said no, I'm not interested in PC gaming or a new build. And yeah, I'll admit it's tough. Like when you're going through figuring everything out, like, all right, I'm gonna get this CPU, I got this case, the board, RAM, everything kind of comes together well enough. And then you get to the video card and you're like, well, that place sold out, that place sold out, that place charging a lot more than they should. Let's go to eBay and everything's triple the price. That's like the holdup right now are the video cards. So much so that you might as well just buy a pre-build. Half the time they have the prices more in line with video cards online, just buying the whole system. It's so weird right now, but that's where we are. Back in the day, it was like, why would you buy a pre-build? Just build it yourself. You'll save money. Now it's like, why would you build it yourself? Buy a pre-build and save money. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Jupiter saying, I hope the new PSVR is easy to use on PC. If Sony can release accessibly priced headset that works well on PlayStation and PC, they could easily dominate the market and help get VR into more homes. That's an interesting thought. We're talking about the PSVR 2 just for PS5, right? But we see Sony looking more and more at the PC side of things, porting more and more games over. Why wouldn't they make the PSVR 2 compatible with PC? That's something that would at least help them when it comes to selling more of these headsets, while the PS5, which the PSVR 2 is going to be completely reliant on how many PlayStation 5s are out there. Do you think the new headset is going to work with the PS4? I don't believe so. I think it's going to be set up specifically for the PS5 and maybe for PC. Maybe Sony develops a driver so that it will work fine in a game like Gran Turismo that I'm sure will probably get ported at some point. It would open up their headset to many more consumers that way, and I do believe the next step is for Sony, or who knows, maybe Microsoft or even Nintendo, we'll see, comes up with their own all-in-one headset. It just eliminates the barrier of needing a console or a PC altogether, and that's one of the biggest reasons I think the Quest 2 has sold as well as it has. But yeah, the idea of the PSVR 2 also working on PC makes a ton of sense, and I hope Sony does it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. There's Nvidia and AMD at CES. Let me know what you thought about their presentation, some of their new products, and new video cards. Exciting until you remember you still have to go through the process of just finding one. Also, what about those Xbox Game Pass games heading into the service to start the month? Are you going to check out Mass Effect Trilogy? And then the idea of coaching people through the PlayStation 5, maybe for a game you're really good at. How do you think of that kind of future? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.